Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Ariels podcast, now with the Digit Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. I cannot believe this, but this is season 5. So thanks to you. This is a thriving podcast reaching the corners of the world, all the women out there, and I'm so excited and proud to be with you. If you haven't listened to the Artist Entrepreneur podcast, my new podcast with Noah Dock and Amanda Ritchie, please check it out. It's going to be on this feed on Thursdays. We're 3 artists navigating our businesses. We have so much fun. Please check it out. It'll be in your inbox on Thursdays. And just announced September 26th to the 28th, I'll be at NECA, the New England Center for Circus Arts, for an 11-hour weekend silks immersion. So it's a retreat-esque without being a full retreat. And I'd love to see you there. It's picturesque Vermont. And I have just a handful of spots left for June 21st through 28th with sweet retreats in Oaxaca, Mexico. Roll it out every Sunday and Thursday. I have some different times to accommodate my Pacific people and my East Coast people. My flagship course, Beginner to Intermediate Aerial Silks, online for anybody in the world. And of course, Aero Rehab, which is meant to be the bridge between PT and your favorite aero class. I'm teaching all over the place this year. Austin, Oaxaca, Ohio, and DC this summer. And of course, NECA in the fall. Let's get started. Oh my goodness. So you reached out to me because you were doing an IVF journey. Where, Alicia? Oh, I didn't mean to just jump straight into it. Can you, for our listeners, introduce yourself, where you come from, a little bit about your practice, and then we'll start jumping into this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, my name's Alicia Lloyd. I live in Auckland, New Zealand. So I've been an aerialist and contortionist for 5-6 years now. I've been training. It started when my friend did a handstand class, and I was like, holy shit, you can learn handstands as an adult. And then I did an intro to aerials, and then I was like, well, I want the splits as well, obviously. And it kind of tumbled from then on. I now teach aerial hoop and flexibility at a studio here in Auckland at Limitless, and I teach just a couple times a week. And yeah, done a couple of gigs here and there, but I'm more of a train because I love it.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Just got really obsessed with it late. I think I started I started aerials when I was 29.
Yeah, I started when I was 30, actually.
It feels very weird to do it so late because you see the people that were gymnasts or dancers, and they come in and
but that was kind of me because cool. I was a dancer first. So I had that easier. I didn't have any upper body strength, but I did have the aesthetic. Yeah. So what did you do before that? Just athletically? Athletically, is that a word?
Yeah, I was always active. I played soccer in high school, and went to the gym on and off throughout university and all that. I had a moment where I was running lots. I did 4 half marathons in a year and went, cool, I'm done. So yeah, it's just always the next obsession. What's the next thing right now? And yeah, right now it's contortion and aerial hoop.
I love this. And I love the accent everyone has who either lives in New Zealand or Australia. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes. I'm hoping some words will come through fine. I do pronounce things a bit in mumble, so I'm hopefully the non-Kiwis can be oh, what the fuck is she saying?
So basically, I took her out to this epic play date, and she's just punishing me for doing that by whining at me because she's too tired.
Oh.
Holy moly.
Okay.
Usually,
that's okay.
I have a bunch of very, very understanding women on this podcast. So thank God for that.
Yes, I don't know what that's like yet, but I can still be understanding about it.
Oh my God. Okay, we're here. So, Alicia, now, you reached out to me because you're in your IVF journey. Where, pray tell, are you in this journey?
Yeah, so right now we've already done one round that didn't work, and we just had an appointment with the fertility doctors on Tuesday to do our publicly funded round in May.
And that is because you live in New Zealand, am I right? Okay, yeah, that's.
Yes.
I don't think that's a thing here in America.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different criteria that you have to fit in order to get publicly funded, and the wait list is over a year long. Different in different regions. Some regions like even up to 2 years to wait, but yeah, you get up to 2 kind of IVF rounds or IUI or ovulation induction, kind of whatever you need if you fit like a bunch of criteria. Which is really cool that they do it, but it is, the wait list, that sucks.
It's definitely a lot of hoops, I'm sure, to jump through. Okay, so let's go back to why the decision to start IVF.
I'm going to throw us back a tiny bit even further before that. So about a few years ago, I had some really horrific bleeding every time I got my period, and it was like not painful, which is cool, but like horrendous amounts of blood. Like it was pouring out of me. Like I couldn't do things, and I use a menstrual cup which holds a lot. I was like emptying that like every 20 minutes. On a normal period, it's like once a day. For reference, sorry listeners. And I had some investigations and turned out I had like a 7 centimeter diameter fibroid in my uterus, which was why I was having such insane heavy periods and like low iron and everything. So I ended up going through surgery to get it removed. I had a laparoscopic myomectomy in June 2022 to remove it. And then, so that went really well. I had like 6 weeks off aerial and everything, which I was surprised of how much I recovered, because it's like a couple of tiny incisions on your lower abdomen. But the thing was, the doctors said after that, they're like, you can't get pregnant for 6 months. And I was like, in my brain, I was like, oh, that's fine. And I was like, oh no, do I want to be getting pregnant? And it kind of switched something over my brain. I was like, oh my God, I'm ready.
And how old were you at that time?
So I was, oh my God, dates. I think I was 31. Yeah. And so with that kind of like little like tick on like your fertility, it was like, oh, okay, that's a thing I need to start thinking about. And so we started trying, I got off the pill, started tracking my cycles, all that good shit. And it'd been like nearly 7 months, and I was like, something's not right. We like, at my age, they usually say take a year and then go see someone. I was like, no, fuck it. I just want to go see someone now. And went the private route and just paid to go see a fertility doctor. And yeah, we have like almost no sperm.
Oh, his sperm count was low.
So my partner, turns out he's got a varicoceles. So the veins in his testicle, kind of like the blood starts pooling and enlarge, and it's been burning up the sperm since like, for maybe a decade or two now. I know. When I got those results, my heart just dropped, because like I was like, well, I'd already started doing the research into this shit, and I was like, that means we're going straight to IVF. None of the other things
because out of all the things, there has to be swimmers.
Yes. Yep. And there's just simply not enough. And so not only do we have to do IVF, we have to do what's called ICSI. So they inject the sperm into the egg. I can't remember the word, sorry. Because there's so little sperm, like for a normal IVF round, they'll like just chuck the sperm in the petri dish with the egg, and the sperm will do it itself. And this time the embryologist has to go through, pick up the sperm, and inject their favorite one into each egg.
Whoa, that's like so insane to think about.
Right? Yeah, so and yeah, last year we went and did a private round of IVF. So we paid for everything, which ended up being like nearly
Yes, yes,
20K
yes, yes.
in New Zealand dollars. So, um, yeah, it was actually not bad.
So wait, how many eggs came out of you on that round?
So I had 26
Oh,
follicles when they did my last scan and got
okay,
14
those are good
eggs out of
numbers actually.
that. Yeah. So yeah, like 14 eggs were pretty good and they were all mature. So if there were any other immature ones left in the follicles, we don't know. They were maybe sticky. But so then they injected the sperm in and they only 4 of them fertilized
Mm.
overnight, which if you look at the averages, that's like really shit. And only one embryo got to its blastocyst stage at day 5 of growth, which is when they can freeze it. Because I had so many follicles, so we did quite a high dose. We're on like 300 IU of gonal F, for anyone that needs to know these numbers. And so that meant that I was at risk of ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. So they don't want you to have a fresh transfer and put an embryo in straight away because the HCG pregnancy hormone can exacerbate that, and then you get estrogen into your blood and you just like, it drowns you basically. It's not a good time.
Wait, go back. I'm so confused. So you, because of, fill in the blank, because of blah.
Because I had so many follicles on my ovaries, I was at risk of ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, so they didn't want to do a fresh transfer.
They
of
wanted
the embryo.
time for your body to come back down to its normal levels.
Yeah.
So they wanted to freeze then wait however many months. Got it. Okay.
So yeah, I think I had like a withdrawal period after the meds like 5 days later. And then the cycle after that was like nearly 45 days long because it took ages to ovulate. So I obviously still had all of those hormones still in my system. So we didn't get to do a frozen embryo transfer until like 2-3 months later. Yeah.
Okay. And so you had one healthy embryo to put back in, just the one. But you had it. Yeah. And did you guys do the DNA testing on it or no?
No, we didn't end up doing it. One, because it's like $1,400 for one embryo. And you have to decide beforehand, which was really hard. So, and at our ages, so at the time I was 33. So when we did that, they're like,
yeah, you're younger.
Age, it's probably fine.
Okay, so you had this one embryo, they put it in there and it doesn't attach?
I had an HCG level of 5 after 9 days after they put it in, and ideally you want it to be at 50.
So, but for the dummies, like for IVF for dummies, the level has to go up, which means your pregnancy hormone is going up, and yours just did not.
Yes. Yes, so the idea is that like the embryo will implant, start making the HCG, and then as the embryo keeps developing and growing, your HCG should double every 2 days. And so by the time that we did our first test, because they wait a little while, everyone calls it the 2-week wait, even though it's a little bit less than that. But so we did the test, and it was way, way under what it's meant to be, which meant that it had implanted and then stopped growing. And so it just like was just not a good one. It was just
didn't want to do
it. yeah, that sperm was like not good enough probably.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was really weird as well because it was 5, and then they said that's just on our line. And so we want you to keep taking So I was taking progesterone supplements, these little suppositories that you stick up your vagina 3 times a day. It's great. And so they're like, we want you to keep taking that and do another blood test. I think it was like 4 days later, just to confirm. And I was like thinking, I was like, we all know this isn't working. They're like, yes, but we have to do this. I'm like, okay, you know. And then a few days later, it was down to 2. And so they're like, okay, stop taking the progesterone supplements. You'll have a period. I'm like, yeah, this will be a weird, but it was like a normal period. It felt very weird. I was like, somewhere there's my little dead embryo.
Oh, yeah.
It's the weird because it's like it's not a baby. It was just the hope of having a baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, when was that?
So that was late October, early November.
Okay.
Last
So
year.
you're a couple months out of that.
Yeah.
And then just the waiting game for the next cycle. So when do you get it? Are you approved already?
So before the cycle, my partner actually had his varicocele surgery. So they can repair that. So that was all publicly funded as well.
Yeah.
Yay, New Zealand. So we got with a urologist here and had a little surgery. So they do like a little insertion really low on the pelvis, and then they like pull all the veins out from the testicles and then basically cut off all the ones that don't need blood supply and just leave the one that does. And then slowly those veins just like wither up. And so then the sperm will be looked after, not being burned up anymore and just having a normal amount of blood and not being heated. So my partner had that surgery late last year as well. So we've now had, because the idea, like everything you say when you're like trying to conceive, they're always like, oh, prep 3 months beforehand. So we've now had that surgery more than 3 months ago that hopefully the sperm are better. And so we're one of the most recent sperm analysis. The numbers were up just like a tiny bit, but it's not hard to go up from like 0.1 million per mil. And now it's like not a less than value, but the motility is much better. I think he had maybe like 5% were moving, and now it's up to 35, which is pretty close to like the average, which is really nice. So we're hoping that with this next round, which is happening in 2 months' time, that we'll have actually good sperm.
Okay. So, oh my God, I'm learning so much right now. So after over time, is his sperm count expected to go up?
It's going to go up, but it's never going to be enough for like actual natural conception. Okay. There's always a possible of the miracle baby, you know. It's not a non-zero chance, but it is like you need to be at least kind of in the 40 millions. We're at like 1.
Oh, I see.
Per mil. So it's so unlikely. So we'll be using the same technique with the ICSI, injecting the sperm into the egg and everything. Again, because there's just not enough there. Like it will bounce back, but it's been years of living in that environment that it doesn't ever come back to those big numbers
and
again.
So it's sperm count, not sperm quality. It is both.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the quality was really bad because what heat does to sperm, it also creates a lot of oxidative stress. And basically sperm are just mitochondria. And so you oxidative stress on mitochondria, they don't work well. They can't swim well. It breaks down the DNA. You know, they were just fucked from the beginning.
Oh my God. And you know so much about this now.
I have been deep diving, man. My day job is a chemist, and so I've got like a little bit of science. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not in the biology world. I don't know that shit very well, but I do. I can know it, get in enough that I understand a bit of it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So definitely it's just to get better and more sperm for the scientific, like IVF. There's no way you're going to have a baby naturally, pretty much.
Yeah, it's so incredibly unlikely.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. How do you feel? Is this process, like, how are you doing?
Yeah, it's been a bit crazy because so in the IVF and fertility world, the way that they talk about exercise is really weird. And so when you're doing the stimulation drugs for IVF to grow all your eggs, so I'll probably call that stims, but your ovaries start getting quite big because you have more, like usually on a normal period, like ovulation cycle, you'll have like 1, 2, maybe 3 follicles, and it chooses its favorite and has the egg. But for here, you're like, we're growing big follicle, we're growing as many as we can, so your ovaries get really big. And so there's a thing that can happen where you can have ovarian torsion, and it can fold in on itself, and then you basically like need surgical intervention straight away. You can lose the ovary. And so physicians get really scared of you doing too much exercise because they worry that that can create that, but there's not really much evidence to say that it does, because like people have done that, like you're rolling over in bed, but they kind of go, oh, you know, just like chill out on the exercise, blah, blah, blah. And when I come into the studio and say I'm a circus artist and I do contortion, they freak out.
Yeah, because there's no studies. There's nothing. It's just, and they don't really know, so they always err on side of caution because they want the best. They want to have the best result, but they don't really know how these things affect it. Like, how would they? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Doing studies on fertility, on pregnancy is an ethical minefield. So they can really only do observational. And what do most people do when they're going through this or going through pregnancy? They chill out. And so we've got no observations of people doing what I guess would call like more extreme exercise. So while I was going through stims, that meant that I wasn't doing my usual shit. So I wasn't doing contortion. I wasn't on the hoop. I did stay in the gym for like 1 or 2 and then took a break and like pulled back all my weights and stuff. But the funny thing was, because I wasn't in a studio, that meant I wasn't seeing my friends. I wasn't socializing. Yeah. And I wasn't moving as much. And then because I was feeling woe is me, I was eating more. So I was just feeling really shit. It kind of sucked. The actual like injections were like pretty easy for me. I'm really glad that I was so happy because I know that needles can be a big thing for people, and they were okay. But it was like the not movement. When you move like all the time, like you're so used to it, and to all of a sudden not move your body, like I was itching to do things. It was really weird.
Yeah, and it's IVF. I did the freezing part, not the rest of it, not the actual IVF, just like the storing of the eggs, because I had gotten divorced and didn't know if I was going to meet somebody, etc. And it was already very stressful. Already super anxiety. Yeah. Like for people who already experience anxiety, it just was like off the charts for me. And so to not have the thing that is your mental health and your physical health, your mental health pretty much, like to not be able to do that activity, you know, doctors aren't meant to, take care of our holistic self. They're meant to just get the result that they need, get you pregnant. But whatever kind of falls by the wayside, mental health or whatever, it's not like, they're not that concerned, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And like even on when we did private funded, but you kind of like, you're in and out. You don't have time to talk about your doctors with this kind of stuff and explain, what you can do and how much your body can actually handle this, because you've been doing it for so fucking long. But yeah. And I think, yeah, so the stems were like a little bit difficult. And then it was very similar for the frozen embryo transfer. So I've got pretty regular cycles. Apparently nothing wrong with me. We're all good. So I was doing a natural cycle, which meant they had to monitor my hormone levels with blood tests, which meant for like 2.5 weeks I was getting daily blood tests. Which was like a little tiring. I was just like drive up to the Awanu labs every morning at 7 a.m. and we'd like, which elbow are we doing today?
Let me ask you, if your partner struggles with or has emotions around him being kind of the chemical issue, and then you having to stick yourself with needles all the time, like, is that a thing? Because I can just imagine from an outside perspective how that might be really hard for him.
He definitely does feel like a little bad. He's made some jokes before where he's like, I can't believe that it's kind of like it's my problem, but you have to do all of these things. Yeah. And he's like, all I have to do is come in a cup. Like, yay.
I mean, usually that's the case anyway. Like, us women have to do the brunt of the things. We also get to, have the, miracle of life and all of that shit. But like, yeah, I can imagine if I were in that person's shoes, I would feel that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of this kind of journey. You just kind of have to accept what it is. And I think, that's been the hard thing of like, it sucks that we have to do all these little extra loops and steps that other people don't have to do, despite the fact that infertility very much is going up. But yeah, you're kind of just like, okay, well, we have to do this. So I'm not going to fight that anymore. I'm just going to accept the reality and do what needs to be done from there. And I'm not saying it's easy to get to that mindset. I'm saying this as someone who's like, far down her journey despite not being at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you're kind of doing okay in it, even though it's difficult.
Yeah. I had one more thing to say about, we did the frozen embryo transfer, which is really easy. You just fill up your bladder, put a little catheter in your uterus, and then they like put the embryo in, and then you just walk out and they're like, cool, okay, you're pregnant now, which is really funny. And so after that, the nurse was like to me, she was like, oh, okay, so like no heavy lifting. I was like, oh, how much is heavy? She was like, oh, 15 kgs, which is probably like 32 pounds or something. And I'm like, you fucking what? And I'm like, I regularly lift my body weight. I'm like, I can deadlift 100 kgs. What are you talking about?
But okay, 50? So this was after the transfer. So, but after you're pregnant, and if you're in your second trimester, then you can act like you're just a regular pregnant lady, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Theoretically, but at that point, they were like, no, you're not allowed to do these things. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Most people don't even know they're pregnant at this stage. Like, it wouldn't show up on a blood test. Like, and it's really weird. I don't get to have the little normal journey. We don't get to have the pee on the stick. Oh my god, like kind of shit. It's a call.
Yeah, well, someone. Because I think the same thought process goes through everybody's head. It's like, I have invested already so much time, money, like everything, like, just don't risk anything. I think that's the thought process that everybody goes through.
Yes. And like, I completely get that. And also that is what I did for the first time. Like, I was like really chill, but with doing that journey, I kind of realized how much all of the other shit in my life still matters. I still want to keep up with my hobbies. I still want to keep up seeing my friends. I want to still keep up some kind of movement, because that is what is my most healthiest self, physically and mentally. And if I lose that shit, like, you're just kind of putting your life on pause while this happens. And I'm like, that's not a way to go through this journey. This is just an extra thing I'm doing. This is just a little bit of, it's my side work, my third job of trying to conceive while I'm doing the rest of my life, because it's just too miserable otherwise. Yeah.
And I have to say, people who are going through IVF, it's usually the only thing in their minds.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah. It's like, you can see it like in the fertility groups and everything. It's like a all encompassing in the way that they like overhaul their diets and the supplement list and everything. And like, I'm on the supplements. I'm doing the eating healthy. I haven't drank alcohol for like a year now. And so we're trying to do all the good shit, but like, you still have to live.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. I mean, do you have advice for women out there who are kind of going through what you're going through?
Yeah, get a hobby.
Yeah, okay.
I know it sounds silly, but go get a hobby. Like, go out into a community. If you need to, like, book club, do some pottery, like walking clubs, like go out and just connect with people. And you don't want to be hiding away in your home. Even if you're like, oh, I don't go outside, like video games, man. Heaps of people play some video games with some friends. Like, it's all about keeping that social connection to keep you like feeling sane.
Okay, this is great advice.
I hope it does help, because the reality is you're gonna go for a shitty situation, and life's gonna be suck, and you're gonna feel shit sometimes, and you're gonna turn up to work and somebody will say something dumb and you'll just start fucking crying because they commented like, oh, when are you guys gonna have kids? I heard you got married. And like, that shit's gonna happen no matter what. People will say the dumbest shit, and you can't avoid that. So you've just got to invest in yourself, and still you're just a person doing this IVF journey on the side. You're still a full human being. Keep all of your eggs in as many baskets as you can to fulfill yourself and your life. There's still so much going on.
I love that. Yeah. I thank you for being here. And also, it's not an easy thing to talk about when you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's really weird, because like when I first messaged you, I was like, oh, once I have my baby.
Yeah.
and it's very likely that I would have forgotten all of the shit that you go through.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of talking about the middle part, because especially with having a baby, it seems very just so focused on the goal, right? The process is whatever. It's just getting to that goal. But it is our lives. And if that process is many years, you're right. Like, you have to live, and you have to not just be worried and thinking about that one thing. I mean, I wanted a baby so bad. And luckily we had her naturally, but like, my issue was that I didn't have a partner. So like, when I was like dating, like it was a job, it was so like, I mean, I was like, I clock in, clock out of my, this job. I think I met 50 men total that either I went on one date with or dated for many months. And I'm not one to date a lot of men at the same time. Like, I'd focus. Like, I'd try to get to know them, decide if they were going to be a future for me, and then move on, right? I wouldn't date like multiple men at the same time. But then I just got so like, it was just like, like dating's supposed to be fun, And like, whatever emotions I turned it into a job. Whatever emotions I had about something not working out, or the disappointment of realizing somebody wasn't the person for me, I would just stuff those down and get back on the app and do my job. I'm not fucking around. Like, that's, and that is a terrible way to do a process like that.
Yeah, you're missing all the fun things like
Yeah.
the nice first date. It's like, the good emotions. Instead, you're like checklisting.
I'm checklisting it.
everyone.
And I know the number of people that I met because I had it on a spreadsheet. I'm not not to compare them, but I was just like, I kind of want to like not forget what I just did. So like,
No, I love, no. And all serious endeavors in life require a spreadsheet.
no,
So you're
I
not
mean, I was
wrong
like
there.
kind of happy I did it because after a while I was laughing at myself, you know.
Oh yeah, that's fun data to have back later.
But for sure, it's like kind of the same vibe, you know, of going through IVF and just biting your nails the whole time, and like just stressed out about the money and like when's the next cycle. And for me, it was like, who's the next dude? Does he fit all the criteria? Is he ready emotionally? And then, of course, I get pushback from some of the dudes because they're like, can we get to know each other first? But then I was just like, I don't know. If you're too chill, then maybe you're not for me anyway, because you know what I'm saying?
You're like, you've seen this. This is not chill. We need to get on
We
some
have to
level.
kind of be on the same planet, you know?
Yeah, it's the same because I've got all these like dates of like kind of it's so dumb, like the end of my exercise career. That's not real when you go past that when you get pregnant, but I keep thinking of like, I'm going to do IVF in May, so I like, here's a bunch of goals, and so I'm like hitting everything way too hard. I'm like, I've got to get this in contortion, I've got to get the spin down and hoop, like I want to be like hitting my deadlift, I want to like squat my body weight. I'm going too hard on this shit, and I'm like, everyone's like, oh, when do you take a rest day? And I'm like, there are rest days. But it's because I've got like this weird deadline that in my brain I'm like, you won't be able to do anything after it. I will be. I'm just not aware of it.
No, it's hard. And I honestly think that sometimes a woman out there listening to our complete, like, just insanity can make them feel better. You know, there's a woman out there, maybe not listening to this podcast because I feel like a lot of the women like are just almost thinking about having a kid, but maybe they have a partner already. Like if you don't have a partner and your clock is ticking, you become an insane person, like completely insane person. Yeah. And I started to get really insane. And then my sister has anxiety too. And she's like, oh my God, this is terrible. And I'm like, I know it's terrible, you know? And then I had other friends who were just like, you know, it's okay to breathe and to let time pass a little bit so you can heal from your divorce. And, you know, and it just didn't land on me because they were stressed out about having kids themselves, but they already had a partner.
Yeah.
So I was like, that doesn't land. Yeah. Like,
you're like, excuse me. Yeah, you're already like way ahead. I'm so behind.
And so my stress it did not help solve my... What? Oh my God, you scared me.
Papa said I could be up here.
Okay, but you can't bother me. You want to lay in the bed? I'm not going to move this whole thing, but I'll be done in 5-10 minutes, okay? Go lay in your bed. Go play with your dolls, and I'll be right there, okay? Okay, come here, Bean. I know. She found me. She scared me because I had my headset on, so I didn't hear her coming.
Oh.
She snuck up on me.
On you. Yeah, I do wonder if I've freaked out a few of my friends because kind of after going through this, and then I've been talking to my friends. I'm like, hey, like if you guys are planning on having kids, doesn't have to be now, but like later, I'm like, maybe go get checked out because I would have liked to know. I mean,
the issue that your husband was having, it's not super common, right?
I'm not actually sure. I don't think it's super common. Like worldwide sperm counts are dropping, which is you know, not great, and whether that's environmental or you know kind of whatever factors. But yeah, I don't think it's too common. It's around most of Well, I think infertility seems to be like a 50-50 situation because funny how that works out. But it's kind of like make sure you've got a regular cycle and then, yeah, and just doing like a one sperm analysis, whether or not you're planning on having kids now or in like the next 5 years, like that just takes a load off your mind. Like you're like, cool, no, that's all good. We don't need to do anything. Because if you need to do anything, that shit takes time.
Yeah.
And so it's just better to know, like, it doesn't have to be, oh, we're trying to conceive right now. No, it can be like, oh, I'm not planning to have kids for like another 5 years. Like, if you do, like, yeah, and if you don't have, regular periods or you're not sure you're actually ovulating. And also one extra thing I want to add, like, if you're on the pill, like, absolutely, I fucking love contraception. Women should have a choice, 10 out of 10. But some people, it does take time to get your cycle back. I didn't really know this, and I didn't have a cycle for like nearly 6 months after coming off the pill. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And you hear about those stories of people that come off and they get it pregnant like straight away the next month. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is this?
Well, it always seems to be the people who don't want to get pregnant that happens to. You know what I'm saying? It's never the opposite.
Yeah, it's the people that are like real chill. We're like, oh, we'll see, blah blah blah. Like, hopefully it takes a while, and then it doesn't. And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh no, the word I was trying to think of when I said it's helpful maybe for women to hear my neuroses about when I was dating, because it's like sometimes when the story is like, oh, it's so easy to meet my partner. It's like it's not as helpful necessarily. So yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, and this is a message out to all the women out there. You don't have to be at the end of your happy story to come on the podcast and talk about whatever thing in the process is really hard, or that you'd want to share, or that you'd want to help other people with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything people have got to like give to this can help anyone out there.
Because all we have is each other. There's not a lot of studies out there because they have to be able to guarantee women no harm, and they just don't know enough, to do a lot of tests on pregnant women. They just don't. So we have each other's stories, and we have each other's, like, we have a self-awareness and a body being. You cannot talk to me right now. You have to wait if you're going to be in here. Okay, I love you, but you have to stop. We have our body awareness as a tool, because we know our bodies so well, like more than most of the population, because we're just so in touch with our movement, so in touch with our instrument. So these stories are all we have, and I think it's wonderful and vulnerable, and I appreciate you for coming on at this stage. I think it's going to help people.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope it does.
My listeners, if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and a review, I would appreciate it forever. It is the hardest thing about being a podcaster is to get your podcast out to the people who want to listen. So the best way to do that is to have a good star rating and just ride that algorithm. So I really appreciate if you guys would just open the Apple app and leave me a review. It makes such a difference. I appreciate you. I also have Greener Grass with Digitent Podcasts with my friend Kelly McVeigh. If you want to hear my voice twice a week, it's there for you. It's light, it's heartfelt, and we bring on some really amazing guests. All right, my friends, over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is The Expecting Aerialist.